Hi everyone, I'm Scott Andrews. I'm a personal trainer and fitness instructor, and today I'm leading you through a full body workout. I'll give you lots of modifications in case you're only limited to a chair, or if you're more able-bodied that can move around, I'll give you some options for that as well. Today we do need a stretchy band. If you don't have one at home, you can actually use a bungee cord that you use to zip tie your stuff in your car. Also, if you've got a weight, it would be really helpful during some of our squatting movements. And also make sure you've got lots of water throughout the day. Sometimes you don't realize how thirsty you really are, so have a bottle of water. The best thing for you guys to know is to listen to your body. So if things aren't feeling really good or they're painful, slow things down or modify it. And if this is really new to you, make sure you always talk to your doctor to let them know that you're starting a new workout program. So without anything else, let's start to move a little bit, get some blood flow through the area, just by start to march it out. So what I'm doing today, I'll show you the standing versions as well as the seated version. So this is kind of marching. It's really easy, being kind of gentle to the body, but taking strong steps and adding in the hands as well. We're gonna do this for about a minute. If you're on a chair, you're sitting nice and tall in your chair and you're just marching with your feet up and down if you can. And same thing when you're ready, we kind of add the hands. So kind of push, 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 and lifting the knees up while maintaining that nice tall posture to support that spine. All right, so everybody keep going for a little bit longer. I'm adding the hands here, so kind of a little bit across the body, just warming up the self. Again, from a side angle, that's what it looks like. Taking some nice deep breaths in, which is really great. And I always find the first few minutes is the hardest part, especially if we're not feeling very motivated. But exercise is great. It does make you feel better after. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when we're done. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going into a side-to-side motion. So it's kind of a really easy side touch. So touch, 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 touch. That's it. Keeping tall, eyes are forward. And if you can, add the hands. So we reach and we pull. That's it. If you're in the chair, concept is here. It's touch, touch, in. So go out and back. And then add the hands in when you're ready. So we reach, we push. That's it. Same thing, nice and tall. So there's no rounding of the back because that will limit how much oxygen you get in the body and put more strain on the necks and shoulders. That's it. Same thing, usually up to that minute. There we go, and I'll go back to the standing. There we are, good, keep moving. Excellent. Right now I don't have any music playing, but if you've got some music at home, add some in because it really helps us motivate us to get through that workout. Beautiful. Let's go for 10 more seconds. Big reach. Good, and listen to your body. If you have to make it smaller or slower, by all means do so. And make sure your space is nice and clear of anything that you could potentially trip on. Great. Last one. Good. That's it. So the first two are just in some mobility drills. We're actually do what's called a hip mobility. What we do, make sure you've got something you can actually hold on to. So for this case, I've got a pole I can do. Holding on that pole, and I'm rotating one knee, rotating other knee. That's it. And again, if you've got really great balance, you might not need it. But it's really about the range in the hips. If you're really falling over, make sure you've got that support. Good, nice and tall, up and away. The chair version, hold onto the chair, one knee out, other knee out. And I love these drills, especially if you've got a lot of back pain. It usually means the hips are quite tight. So you want to get the hips nice and loose, which gives that lower back a little bit of some love. Great. And bend back to standing. There we go. Now we're going to add the upper body, arms, to add some mobility to the shoulder. So we just go big reach forward. That's it. And same thing whether you're standing or sitting. It looks exactly the same. So you choose what you can do. Right, big reach. Really exaggerate that circle and trying to keep the ears away from the shoulders, right, versus letting them shrug up. Good, let's go backwards. Beautiful. Nice strong breath in. Good. Setting intention for the workout, being really kind of mindful of all the movements. It's always better about the quality than quantity. So maybe I might say do 10 of something, but you can do 5 of them really good. That's perfect. And every time you might revisit this video, you kind of add a bit more onto them. Good, last one. Beautiful. The next part is a little bit new to some classes or some online videos. It's called release work. What we've got here is a foam roller. I love this because a lot of times we get some tension up through the upper hip, lower back region, especially if you do a lot of bending over. If you've got one at home, it's great. If not, as a substitute, you can use like a rolling pin. Make sure there's no cookie or anything on it, but it might be great to smell like cookies all day, but you'll make sure it's nice and clean. And this is some self-myofascial release work. I'm going to show you the version first using the foam roller, and then I'll give you the option B with the hand one. So what this looks like, we're going to roll into the upper back region against the wall. So basically it goes from the base of my mid-back to the base of my shoulders. So I roll the ball up and down, and when I'm done, I'm going to roll the upper hip. So I'm going to go against the wall. I put some weight into it. I use a little bit of squatty motion going down and back up. Nice and slow. And I'm going to add a little bit of hug. So I reach my shoulders. And what this helps to do is create some more gliding surfaces for some tissues, especially if you've got a lot of knots or trigger points or pain. It does help. But again, if you're feeling some sharp pain, that means it's not good to do, and make sure you go and talk to that doctor first so they know what you're doing as well. That's the upper back. The lower portion is to get that side hip, so I rotate to the side, and I jam my hip in it and roll up and down. Really trying to stay away from the joint, staying onto the muscle or some of the fattier tissue around that. So up and down on both sides. And you're going to feel sometimes a bit more trigger points. You want to go slowly over those, breathe, focus on the technique. Great. Again, this is one of my favorite ones, which will really help us today during some of the lower body exercises. So if you didn't have a foam roller, the pin roller, same thing, you kind of just roll onto your back yourself. And actually will feel really nice, especially when you're done. Right up and back. So that's the upper back portion. The lower would be right to here. And again, if you don't have the mobility to get back, you might ask a friend or family just to kind of help roll it out a little bit, and you'll notice a difference. So we're looking for about 6 to 8, nice and slow as you can, and always doing both sides. So that's the release work. And like I said before, you'll start to see some movement become a little bit easier during those exercises. So our first drill, we're doing what's called a wall push-up, or the second option is being in the chair. So what you do need is a wall. I'll be using this pole here during my push-up. You want to have the hands kind of just outside the shoulders and try to pull the elbows back and away. And it really kind of engages the shoulders and the chest. What I want you guys to do today is we're going to slow down, pause, and then press away. Looking for 10 repetitions for 1 up to 3 sets. So if you're new today, just stick with 1 set of 10. And as you get stronger, a little more fit, you add that second or that third set. But listen to that body. So let's do them together. So again, you're going to lower yourself down, 1, 2, 3, and then press away. Nice and gentle, controlling and not letting your back sag at all during that motion. If you're finding the wall push-up too easy, well, you can do it against the floor, which is making it a lot harder. So it's knees bent, we lower slowly, strong push. That's it. Let's go again. 4 more if you can. 1, 2, 3. And don't worry, I'll show you the seated version to work very similar muscle groups for us. Control it, press away. Keep the chin tucked down. Inhales lower, exhales, you press back. Let's do 1 more. And power. Awesome job. If you couldn't do that, what I do want is that stretchy band or the bungee cord seated. And I pull 1 band into the upper chest, other hand holds in front, and you kind of just pull that band away. So we pull in and we push. So again, holding it nice and tight with 1 hand and really extending away. If you find it too hard, you can loosen up the slack. So you go a bit more, or too easy, tighten up a bit. And same thing, going for 10. So you press away per side. So you switch both hands, going for 10. That's going to work a bit more of that tricep region. similar muscles that we might use for that push-up. So those are the two options, either wall push-up or seated with the band. All right, the second portion we've got from here is a squat. And I really love teaching the squat because it really reinforces how important it is to work onto our hips. However, we see a lot of restrictions in the squat, especially with have a lot of clients that may have some issues with balance or motor control. So what I want them to do is to elevate their heel. So I'm using a book, I'm putting the book on the floor, and I'm resting about 10% of my foot on that book. What that helps to do is gets a bit more range of motion for my ankles. So when I squat down, it's a lot easier. So I'm going to show you the standing version as well as the chair. So what you do is either hold on to something or raise the hands up, sit back, press the arms, exhale back up. So 1, 2, 3, exhale back up. 1, 2, 3, exhale back up. Same thing, if it's too easy, add a weight to make it a bit more challenging. And what that weight does is keeps that chest nice and tall. And you only go down as far as you can, and we press up. 1, 2, 3, drive the heels, pressing up. Beautiful. Working on strength in the front thigh muscles, a bit of the back hip, and the core. 1, 2, 3, drive nice and tall. 1, 2, 3, exhale. Let's go 2 more. Again, it's really important to actually develop the squat because it's such a functional movement that we need every day to pick things off the floor and press. So when you're picking stuff off the floor, it's really important we don't use that lower back too. We use the hips and the thighs to actually bend down, then it's the fold forward. So that's the squat. If you couldn't do the squat, the other version is sitting on a chair, nice and tall. We start with one leg. We just do leg extensions. Going in, going back out. Really feeling that front thigh muscle contract, then back down slowly. Squeeze up, back down controlled, all the way in. That's the seated leg extension drill, which can use similar muscles to that squat. Make sure you always do both legs. And same thing looking for is 10 onto one leg, 10 the other side. And today we're only doing 1 set, but I want everybody to build up to that 3-set position. Control it, nice and tall. Great. So that's the push-up, that's the squat. And then we're gonna stand up to nice and tall. We're gonna work a bit of our balance, which is a third piece really crucial to do, which is mobility, strength, and balance. So that third piece here, what I want everybody to do is to make sure you're close to by something you can hold on to, like a pole or a friend. And same thing, I'll show you some stuff you could do on the chair instead. So we're gonna do nice flat foot, nice and strong, soften the knees, soften the hips, and you'll raise up the other leg. You might have some trouble with the one, so that's why we have something close to hold on to. And we hold that. The idea is to build up to 30 seconds. You'll find lots of levels. If you can't do 30, always have maybe 1 foot down on the floor and build up. If this is too easy, place something under the foot that creates some instability to make it harder. What I like doing this one is raising one hand up, other hand comes up, and that hand comes back down. It's really good. It might look kind of simple when you do it. It's really challenging. So I look up, I touch, I come back down and return. Other side, soften the knee, work on that balance. You might find one side a lot harder to do. If you do, make sure you start with that leg first when we're more energized. Soften the knee, raise the foot or keep the foot down, building up to that 30 seconds. Same thing in Add My Drill is one hand up, other hand comes up, touches it, back down, and easy. Beautiful. Control. You're gonna feel all those muscles start to shake and contract. That's a good thing. That means they're really working hard to keep your body stable. And stability is very critical to have to prevent falls or injuries. We want to work that position. Great job. Excellent. So working up to 30 seconds, and you might find time through your day where you can actually add those drills. So maybe you're brushing your teeth, and you can kind of stand on one leg as you're doing it. So kind of find ways through your day to do it. If you're seated, this is a bit trickier, but you might have to ask a friend to help. But you actually place the hands in front, and you get them to push on one side or other side. And what that does is activates the core, and the core's role is to create stability through the body. So you actually want them to push, so you're trying to help the balance, or even doing it with one leg as you're pushing. So you learn out what you can do, right? That's a great way to start. So one hand push, other side, or just being in the chair and raising one leg up and then slowly shift to the other side. Hold it, and then that shift. But really critical what that spine does. There's no collapsing here. Good. Finding that balance drill. Excellent job. So this time we grab a break. So if you got some water, by all means take some. We just finished our upper body, so the chest muscles and then our legs. And then now we're gonna actually work into some single leg exercises, as well as upper back stuff. So we need to actually have that band again. And you do this standing or seated. In that band, you hold it palms up, and it's called band pull-aparts. So again, you don't need a lot of tension. That band opens as wide as you can across the chest, and it slowly returns. Or doing it seated, same concept. So you open all the way up. If you're finding this stuff really challenging the shoulder, you can do an easier exercise, just a straight curl, which is holding the weight, and we curl the band up and then back down. However, it doesn't really work those back shoulder muscles that we tend to get weak, sometimes with poor posture. So I really like this band opening. And if this band is too hard, and actually just using body weight, that could be hard enough for some. So right there is fine. But really think about that squeeze the shoulder blades behind us and then return in, nice and controlled. So you choosing what you can do as you open up. Beautiful. All right, so same thing, looking for 10. Too hard, make it a little easy for you. Building up to that 3 sets total, but today we're going for 1 set, nice and controlled, and it's really always opening the thumbs away, shoulders down. Let's go 2 more. Good squeeze, return. And again, this drill really works that weak part of the shoulder blades, which you need. Good. Excellent, so now we're doing a lower body. This is one of my favorite exercises, but it does require a lot of balance, so I'll always show you 2 versions. So grab that pole or band or a friend, hold on to them. With one leg, we're going to do a small hinge. That back leg touches the floor, then we stand nice and tall. We hinge, we touch that foot, we're holding on, we lift back up. Same thing, you've got your chair. You can do it right here, holding on the chair, soften the leg, and up. I want you to look at my back. Notice my spine stays nice and straight, and that makes the hip work harder. Versus the other way is letting my body round forward, and that's not good. You want the chest up, hinge at the waist, touch back, and stand. Great. All the way back, under. Same thing both sides. So if my left leg's working, I'm holding on the chair with my right. That right leg goes back and up. My whole spine is nice and long and straight. Again, too easy, take away the chair, working on balance, or which is really challenging, adding a load, but I'd really just kind of cautious. It's about quality on this movement. Same thing, 10 per legs, building up to do 3 sets total. Let's go 2 more on this one. Good, touch back, all the way behind us. And again, if you couldn't do that by standing, it's a bit trickier on here. We would be just seated and doing very similar, either that leg extension drill that we had, again, working kind of similar muscles of the other part too, but you can learn what you can do for those. That's perfect. So we just kind of hit off all 4 regions. We worked our front by the push-ups, our lower body during the squats, upper back during the band pull-aparts, and then the 4th was that balancing hips, which is a single leg deadlift that we just did. So now we're going to tackle the core a bit more with my 2 favorites, called a bird dog and a hip bridge. Either going to do it on the floor, which I know it's hard for a lot of people, so we're also going to do it a bit on the chair. So I'll show you the floor versions. So the bird dog, what I want to make sure you either have a nice squishy towel or mat that you can have onto, and protect those back knees, because it puts a lot of pressure back there. So you might actually add a little pillow under the knees. I'm in a 4-point position, so shoulders in line with my wrist. my knees align with my hips, and all this drill is making sure I'm nice and wide and stable, brace the back, and raise opposite arm and leg. And you're doing that for 10 times. If that's too hard, what you can do to start with one hand only, or one leg only. But my back does not move. It's just the arm and the leg. Everything else is nice and stable and strong. And I love this drill because it's gentle on the spine and adds a lot of stability from that supporting knee and arm. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale back up. Beautiful. Imagine someone's pulling my fingers of my foot as I reach back and forth. Good. Let's go one more on here. Great. And same thing. You listen to your own 10 reps. Maybe they're slower, maybe they're faster than mine. But trying to build to that 10, nice and controlled. Good. I'm inhaling and I'm raising. And again, a nice way, if it's too hard, open the legs, open the hands to gain more stability. It's a bit easier for you. Good. Do about 3 or 4 more. If you're on the chair, what I want you to do is you turn to your one side. So I'm turning to my left, holding my left arm, and from this drill, I raise my right leg back and my right hand. So I drive my right leg back, and I lift my right hand, and I pull them back towards. I press back, and here. What this is trying to do is working a bit of the core, but also the shoulders and back of the hips. So it's kind of the modified bird dog on the chair. Same thing. Press that leg back. It's also a nice stretch for the hip flexor, which is also a tight muscle for a lot of people. We go other side, left leg, left arm. We stretch back, we pull them in. And always holding on to that chair with the other hand to gain that balance. Great. So you choose what you could do. Either the floor or the chair, bird dog. And maybe over time and progress to that ground, which is really great. Our last drill is the hip bridge. So what it looks like is you're into like a sit-up position on the floor. But instead of doing sit-ups, which can be hard on the neck and lower back, we drive the heels, lift the toes slightly, and lift your butt off the ground and keeping head nice and comfortable. So we lift the hips up with an exhale. We lower with the inhale, nice and controlled. Spine stays long. We lift up and we return. Right, press in the heels. And I'm going to get you guys to guess how many reps. If you said 10, you're right on the money. Control it. Press lower back, roll up. I want you to feel your butt muscles start to contract, a little bit of the thighs, but nothing lower back. If you feel lower back, we want you to stop. Take your break by holding the knees to the chest, and then repeat. So looking for that 10 count. If you have a chair, the modified version of the hip bridge is sitting on your hips to the very back of the seat, hands on the hips. We hinge forward with a nice wide leg base, and we drive back up. It's very important though that I'm using my hips to do the motion. Inhale, exhale up. Notice my back is straight, then letting my back just round down. And I also love teaching this to a lot of people to what's called hip hinging, which helps protect that back for years to come if you know how to pick things up, hinging versus rounding. Same thing, looking for 10, and you know how far you can go down. Maybe you only can go here, that is totally okay. Or maybe you got a lot of range of motion, you can go all the way to the floor. Exhale, return. Inhale, and exhale, press back out. Let's go 2 more. Also like this, I feel a bit of a stretch too. And again, if this is too easy in the chair, you can always add a little bit of weight, but very careful. If you got lower back pain, do not add weight. It's all about that range of motion that we can. Beautiful job. Grab some water if you can. And that is the workout. Quite simple. Shows you 2 versions, the standing in the chair. If you felt you want to do it again, repeat, go back to the workout. So rewind the video to the start and repeat everything again, looking for up to 3 sets if you can. And the most important thing when you're done is to do some stretching. So what you'll do is you can do a chair or the standing stretch. Keep it really simple. what you do if you're in the chair is we're going to hold on to one knee, looking for up to 30 seconds per hold. And if you're standing with that one too, I like doing it on lying down where I pull that knee to the chest. So once you've done that hip bridge, you can do a little knee hugger. So you're holding it nice and tall, which is a great way to help the hamstring as well as the back of the hip. Same thing, switch other side, hug that knee. Great, release the ankle, let it kind of just relax. Beautiful, great. So that's the hip stretch that we do. Other thing we're going to do is I like to open up the chest. So I open the hands up nice and tall, let them drop down, and I rotate my head to one side to feel a nice stretch through the shoulders. So this head looking down into the pocket and reaching my hands towards the floor. And then I'm returning when I'm ready, nice and easy. Other side, eyes look down in that pocket, reaching towards the floor. Seated or standing, whatever's easiest for you. And then we bring the hands together. Inhale. We exhale around the back. This is really the only time we're rounding today. Do a nice stretch. I hold it for about a second or two, and then I come back in. And I exhale again. Great. Then our last one is usually the hip flexor. And you kind of saw it from that bird dog. I like to put my leg back. I tuck my hip under, and I just kind of push forward. You should feel your whole back leg straight. It's a really nice one if you can do. That's a very tight band of muscles, so you'll know you're stretching it right away. So it's from that chair position, rotate to the side, reach that leg back if you can, only as far as you are, and it's all about the hip tuck. So I tuck my hip under. So it's from here, and I kind of just push my body forward a little bit, so you feel a nice pull. If you are standing, you go down to a kneeling position, and again, make sure that knee's supported. I just kind of do the hip tuck, and I push forward. It's one of my favorite stretches to do. Tall body, drive forward. Make sure you get both sides. Hip tucked unders, drive in. Good, nice and control. I find if my back has been tight the day I do this stretch, it eases that back a little bit because the hip flexor is actually attached into the lower back. So when they get tight, they pull that back out of alignment. So we want to give them a little bit of love. Beautiful. Great job, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's workout. Any comments, please let us know to make things better for everybody. But I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.